Wow, look how much these North Georgia candy roasters have grown just in 5 days. Hi, I'm Annette, and we're going to be planting North Georgia candy roasters in soil blocks. Let's get started. This video is part 1 of 2. In this video, I'm going to be going over getting the seeds sprouted and planting them in soil blocks. However, you can plant your candy roaster seeds in anything that you have convenient where you live. Now in video 2, I will be going over transplanting the candy roasters, the care and the maintenance of them, and also the grand finale, harvesting the candy roasters. So you don't want to miss part 2 as well. If you do not have a soil blocker, there are definitely options. You can use any kind of planter that you might have. Solo cups that we drink out of, just make sure you puncture a hole in the bottom for drainage. And also cell trays. Be sure that they get transplanted before they get root bound. If you would prefer not to transplant, then just wait until about 2 weeks after your last average frost date and your soil has warmed up, and that way you can just plant them directly outside in the soil. In planting in soil blocks, we have to have some type of mixture to make our soil blocks out of. I have several recipes that I go by. In my recipe today, I use half of the Fox Farm Bush Doctor Cocoa Coir and then half peat moss. The reason why I mixed the two together is because I was going to use just the Cocoa Coir by itself, and it has fertilizers and other amendments mixed in with that bag. But when I tested the pH, it was 7.0, and I want my pH to be somewhere between 6.0 and 6.5. because I have found down through the years that my garden does much better if I can keep the soil a little bit acidic. So when I saw that the pH of just a Cocoa Coir was 7.0, that's when I mixed in the same amount of peat moss that I used with the Cocoa Coir, and it brought the pH down to 6.2. Whatever recipe you decide to use to make your soil blocks, a good measurement to begin with is 3 parts of your dry soil mix and 1 part water. Now a part is whatever measurement you want it to be, whether it is a bucket or a pitcher or whatever measure it might be. Just how many parts you do 3 times of that soil mix, do that same measurement of water 1 time, and that's a really good start. Now if anything, you might have to add just a little bit more water, but you want it to be more on the wet side versus the dry side. What I did to prepare my seeds was I soaked them in warm water for 24 hours first, and then I wet a paper towel and put them in the baggie. That is not mandatory, but last year I had a hard time having a good germination rate. So this year I was just going to make sure that they germinated better than they did last year. As you can see, these seeds are ready to be planted. They all have sprouted except for 1. There are a number of benefits in using soil blocks to start your transplants. 1, the soil blocks helps the plant to have a good, strong root system. As the root system grows, the sides air prune, but the bottom continues to grow to be a strong root system. Also, they are very easy to transplant, and you have little to no transplant shock. So in making your soil mix for your soil blocks, I highly recommend for you to sift, screen your soil mix, whatever you use. I bought this online from the Gardener's Workshop from Lisa. She is a commercial flower grower. This works very well. It fits on top of a 5-gallon bucket. And through screening it, you can see the big clumps that I got out of the peat moss. And this is the big clumps that I got out of the Cocoa Coir mix that I bought. It's a good idea that when you plant anything, whether it's soil blocks or in the ground, that you always mark it, write the name, the variety, and the date that you planted. I really like these trays. I'll order them online. I have a whole stack of them. You can get different sizes. It has a low profile And then this helps you to be able to water well when it's time to water your soil blocks. There are no draining holes in these trays. We don't want them to have draining holes in them. And I'll show you the process that I do as we go along. To save time, I have already added my water to my soil mixture. And once you add your water in, if you can take a handful and you can squeeze it, you want water to come out of it. It's better for it to be a little bit too moist than not enough, because you don't want your blocks crumbling and falling apart. So here's my 2-inch soil blocker. Move the bulk of it to the back and just what I'm going to be needing here to the front. And you just put your hand down here on the handle like this. There's different ways you can do it. And then just do a twisting motion. Now I want to show you this soil block. I can pick it up. This is perfect. Now I got the soil blocks made. It's ready to put these seeds in there. Some of these sprouts are quite long, so I'm going to have to be careful not to break them off. Okay, so I got them all planted in the soil blocks, and I'm just going to put a pinch of the same soil that I made the soil blocks out of. Just put a pinch of that on top here and press it down. Wow, look how much these North Georgia candy roasters have grown just in 5 days. They are ready to be planted in the ground. It takes about 100 days for candy roasters to come to harvest. As time goes on, I'm going to be filming the progress of the growth all the way to harvest. Be looking for my next video on harvesting these wonderful candy roasters. If you have found value in this video, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you will know every time I upload a new video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.